You have big dreams, massive goals. You know exactly what you want to achieve. You can see it, feel it, taste it. You've watched the videos, read the books, made the plans. You tell yourself, this year, I'm gonna do it. But then, nothing happens. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, months into years, and you're still in the same place, same job, same habits, same life, stuck between who you are and who you know you could be. If this sounds familiar, if you're tired of being ambitious but lazy, this story is for you. Because what you're about to hear might be the wake-up call that finally changes everything. In a quiet town, there lived a young man named David, 27 years old, intelligent, talented, full of potential. David had dreams that kept him awake at night. He wanted to start his own business, travel the world, write a book, get in the best shape of his life, learn guitar, master photography, build something meaningful. His mind was an endless storm of possibilities, and he truly believed he would achieve them all, one day. But that day never came, because David had a favorite phrase, 3 words he repeated more than any others: "I'll do it tomorrow." Every morning, David woke up with motivation. Today's the day, he'd tell himself. Today, I start. He'd make coffee, open his laptop, full of energy and intention. But then, he'd check his phone. Just 5 minutes, he'd think. 5 minutes became an hour became 3. Before he knew it, the day was half gone. "I'll start after lunch," he'd promise himself. But after lunch, he felt tired. "I'll start this evening." Evening came, he was exhausted. "Tomorrow," he'd sigh. "I'll definitely start tomorrow." And the cycle repeated, day after day, week after week, year after year. 5 years passed. David was now 32, and nothing had changed. Same apartment, same job, same routine. The business never started. The book, 3 pages written, then abandoned. The fitness goal, gym membership unused for 4 years. The guitar, collecting dust in the corner. One evening, David sat alone in his dim apartment, scrolling through social media, and he saw something that made his stomach drop. His old college friend, Ryan, had just launched his 3rd successful business. Another friend, Lisa, had published her first novel. Another had completed a marathon. Another was traveling through Asia. People he went to school with, people who weren't smarter than him, weren't more talented, didn't have more advantages. They had just done one thing differently. They had started, and they had kept going. David felt something break inside him. Not anger, not jealousy, something worse. Regret. Deep, crushing regret. He realized he'd wasted 5 years waiting for the perfect time, waiting to feel ready, waiting for motivation that would make it easy. And in all that waiting, life had passed him by. That night, David couldn't sleep. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, and for the first time in years, he asked himself a brutal question. What if tomorrow never comes? What if I keep saying tomorrow until there are no tomorrows left? What if I reach 50, 60, 70 and realize I spent my entire life preparing to live instead of actually living? The thought terrified him, but it also woke something inside. The next morning, David did something different. Instead of checking his phone, instead of waiting to feel ready, he took action. Small action. He opened his laptop and wrote for 15 minutes. Not a perfect chapter, not even a perfect paragraph, just 15 minutes of messy, imperfect writing. And something strange happened. It felt good. Not amazing, not euphoric, just progress. Real, tangible progress. For the first time in 5 years, David had moved forward instead of sideways. David didn't suddenly become disciplined overnight. He didn't wake up at 4 a.m. doing cold plunges and crushing goals, but he did one thing. He stopped waiting for tomorrow. Every day, he took one small action, sometimes just 10 minutes, sometimes an hour if he felt motivated, but never 0. The rule was simple: never 0. Even on bad days, even when he didn't feel like it, he'd write one sentence, do one push-up, take one step, because he learned something powerful. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act, but David discovered the secret. You act first, and motivation follows. 6 months later, David's life looked completely different. Not perfect, not Instagram-worthy, but real. He'd written 50,000 words of his book, lost 15 pounds, started his side business that was actually making money, learned 5 guitar songs, built friendships that mattered, and most importantly, he respected himself again, because he was no longer lying to himself, no longer making promises he didn't keep, no longer betraying his own potential. 1 year later, David ran into his old friend Jake at a coffee shop. They hadn't seen each other in years. "Man, you look different," Jake said. "What happened?" David smiled. "I stopped saying tomorrow." Jake laughed. "That's it? That's the big secret?" "That's it," David said. "I realized tomorrow is a lie we tell ourselves to feel better about doing nothing today. And every time I said I'll do it tomorrow, what I really meant was I'm choosing not to do it today. And when you choose not to do something today, you're choosing to be the same person tomorrow." Jake went quiet. David continued. "The hardest truth I learned is this: you don't lack time, you don't lack resources, you don't even lack motivation. You lack the courage to start before you're ready. You're waiting for a version of yourself that will magically have more discipline, more energy, more clarity. But that version doesn't exist. There's only this version right now, today, and this version is enough. You just have to start." Here's what David learned, and what I need you to understand. Being ambitious isn't enough. Having dreams isn't enough. Making plans isn't enough. Because dreams without action are just fantasies. Plans without execution are just wishes. And all the ambition in the world means nothing if you don't have the discipline to take the first step. The brutal truth is, tomorrow doesn't exist. It never has, it never will. There is only today. And every time you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," you're making a choice. You're choosing comfort over growth. You're choosing distraction over discipline. You're choosing to stay the same. And staying the same feels safe, but it kills you slowly, one wasted day at a time, until you wake up years later and realize you spent your whole life waiting for a moment that already passed. So I want to give you a challenge, starting today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready, today. Pick one thing, just one, the thing you've been saying you'll do someday, and do it. For 10 minutes, that's all. Not perfectly, not even well, just start. Because here's what will happen. Those 10 minutes will turn into 15, then 30, then an hour. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize you've made more progress in 1 month than you did in the last 5 years. Not because you suddenly became superhuman, but because you stopped lying to yourself. You stopped waiting for permission. You stopped saying tomorrow, and you started today. David is 34 now. His book is published. His business is thriving. He's in the best shape of his life. Not because he's special, not because he got lucky, but because 2 years ago he made a decision. He decided to stop being ambitious and lazy, and start being ambitious and active. He decided his dreams deserved more than empty promises. They deserved action. So I'll leave you with this. 5 years from now, you're going to arrive. The question is, where? Will you arrive at the life you dreamed about? Or will you arrive at the same place you are now, 5 years older, with 5 more years of regret? The choice is yours, but you have to choose today, because tomorrow is a lie. If this story hit you hard, please like this video and share it with someone who's stuck in the "I'll do it tomorrow" trap. Subscribe for more stories that challenge you to become who you're meant to be. Remember,
You don't need to be ready. You just need to start. Your future self is waiting. Don't make them wait forever.